What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Champion Living Podcast, where we believe that consistency, perseverance, and not taking life too seriously are the keys to success. I'm Doug, the founder and owner and head coach of Champion Living Fitness. Each week, I'll be joined by my coaching staff with the vision of providing trustworthy information about fitness, nutrition, and mindset, and how this all applies to being a professional rodeo athlete, as well as people from all walks of life. Are you ready to become a champion? Let's go. This episode is brought to you by Beastmaster Pro Rodeo. Rodeo season is right around the corner, and it's time for you guys to gear up with the best. We're proud to partner with Beastmaster Pro Rodeo, the go-to source for top quality gear that keeps you riding strong and performing at your best in the arena. Beastmaster isn't just about the essentials. They're constantly innovating. This season, they're rolling out brand new products designed to help you push the limits and take your performance to the next level. And as a Champion Living listener, you get an exclusive hookup. Use our discount code ChampionLiving, all one word, caps lock on. It's going to save you 10% at checkout on your entire order. So whether you're a professional or just getting started, Beastmaster has the gear you need to tackle the season ahead. Head over to beastmasterrodeo.com to gear up with the best for this upcoming season.
How are you guys?
Really good.
Living the dream?
Yes.
Yeah.
Living the dream. It's been good. I've been like at this place where my mail comes. Supposedly my home. I've been able to
call it.
Yeah,
Some would call it a home.
Be in this residence for a little while. Pretty nice.
It's nice to be in something and use something that you're paying for, isn't it?
A lot of money for. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Yes, that's exactly right. Yes, it is very nice. No, it's been it's been awesome.
They say it takes like 3 weeks or something for a new house to feel like home. Have you had 21 days?
No, I've had 21 days, but I mean, we
Have you?
signed papers on December 2nd, left for Vegas on the 3rd, and was there for 2 weeks, and then I came home and was home for like maybe 10 days, and then we had to go to Cody's wedding, and we went to Cody's wedding, and
That feels
the
like a
Kentucky
lifetime
school,
ago.
and
Yeah.
and it has been. It's just been a whirlwind. So periodically, I mean, I've been there for 3 weeks ish, but it's just not been consecutive. But now I don't have anything foreseeable on the calendar except for 1 or 2 weekends a month, extended weekends, right? Like maybe a Wednesday, Thursday through Sunday or something. But one or two of those a month.
It's an
until
entire
like
week,
August.
dude.
So,
It's more than 50% of a week.
Well, but it's like anyway. It's not consecutive trips. Boom, boom, boom. Going here, going there, going here, going there. So it's really good. It's good to be home. And there's just so many. Everybody's like, "Oh, are you settled in yet?" I'm like, ask me in 2031. Like there's so many projects and things that I want to do, and I just takes time and money, and I have neither one of those.
Neither of either. Yeah. I feel you on that, man. I feel you on that. That's cool. I'm glad you guys
Have you
are in
received the
house.
trail cameras yet that we're going to put up?
Nope. I have them. I'm sending them. I have a mild situation with a terrorist at home that doesn't allow me to do things that I need to do. And so I've attempted to send these cameras twice. Al has to ship stuff too. And we have tried 2 times. And it's usually on our last on the list of things to do when we're out and about doing stuff.
Yeah.
And of course, been a couple hours and little man has had enough.
Yeah, he's done.
So that keeps getting skipped over, but it's right here. The cameras are right here. I have them all, and I'm going to Missoula today. So I will, do not disturb, bro.
My bad. That's my bad. That's freaking Ryan Gray of all people. Come on, dude. Do you not know?
we should have channeled them in.
Yeah, I should have answered it. He could have been a guest for today.
Can you click this link? Come in. Yeah.
Yeah, you're on the podcast now. Well, there's a whole family of deer, like 5 or 6 of them that just come across my backyard. Like, I mean, I'm talking about, I don't know, probably 30 or 40 yards from the windows, like every morning and every night. And they're going this way in the morning, and then they're going this way in the evening. And I'm like, oh, you guys just wait. You have no idea what's coming for you. Pick off every single one of you at some point in time. Anyway, I'm actually going tomorrow to my pastor's house, and we're going to meet up with him, and he's going to teach me a little bit of bow and arrow 101, as I call
Safety.
it. So,
Sick.
learning
That's
some
awesome.
draw lengths and some stuff, and so
Yeah.
I am really excited to to get started in that.
Dude, how cool.
I keep waiting for like the hobby that gets Logan addicted to it,
Yeah.
because like everything we've thrown at him so far is not stuck.
Minus cocaine, yeah.
Cool. So that got real deep real quick. I was like, too soon, bro. Too soon. Too soon.
I think you're gonna enjoy the heck out of shooting a bow, man. I really do.
Yeah.
And they allow you to tinker.
Yeah.
And you're a big tinkerer.
Yeah. I usually tinker with steel, setting up arenas and tearing them down. So
yes, this will be a lot more fun.
Yeah, a lot more fun.
A lot more fun. And I'm sure all the boys will be into it once you start doing it at home. And that'll be a really cool thing to be able to do together.
Yep.
And teach them a lot. I mean, there's so many things to learn that a bow can teach you, just like rodeo does. And just doing stuff as a group is awesome, man.
That's exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm excited about, is having something that I can share with them, and being able to go, try to hunt with them some, and not to mention grocery prices. Hello, like get a deer or two to be able to keep. Now we've got a deep freeze, and anyway, so we've got plenty of room. I'm looking forward to it.
Dude, groceries, we don't buy meat, and groceries are still expensive, and I hadn't even thought about that till you said it, but if we were having to add meat to that every week, that bill would be, because that's the most expensive thing at the dang store.
Dude, you ain't kidding.
Yeah. If you're not buying pork or chicken, if you're buying beef, it's not cheap. So
that 93% lean right now is like $8 a pound.
Yeah. And not to mention eggs right now. Yeah. Not that you can go hunt eggs, but if you had some chickens,
No, that's been the cool thing, is that the chickens have started. They weren't laying when we bought the place. Well, we've only got 11, so we've got a small.
You are gonna have so many eggs.
Yeah, but they weren't laying when we bought the place, and then that really cold snap. Obviously, they weren't laying, but then it's kind of warmed up ish, right, into the 40s and 50s during the day, and they started laying again. And the kids. It's what I love about our new place is that you can't even see the road from the front porch, and so the kids put a coat on, some shoes on, peace. They just go, and Cutler even. We did lose Cutler the other day. His friend, the cat, we have a cat named Snickerdoodles that we inherited with the place, and they're buddies. And Snickerdoodles was luring him into the woods. I'm not entirely sure. We couldn't find him for a considerable amount of time, and I found him 20 feet in the woods back over here behind the house with the cat. And I'm like, okay, maybe I need to monitor your friendship with this kitten more closely. But at any rate, but they go check for eggs. Cannon checks for eggs probably 17 times a day. It's like every time I turn around, he's like, "Oh, go check for eggs." So
good, go do it. Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. How about some winter rodeo action? You guys been watching some of these rodeos? I love it because I'm just stuck here, and so we've been watching that every night. There's a couple of perks to watch, and getting to watch everybody. Man, what good pins of bucking horses there's been. So good. Yeah. But are any standouts, anything popping up for you guys that maybe surprised you, or
I got a Owen Brulette, bareback rider. He's winning Jackson right now. He's 88 the other night on Tater Tot at Porco's. And he's been doing some good this winter. He did good over in Raleigh there, and I've had a few other clients that have been just sliding under the radar, placing here and there, nothing just huge, but they're crushing it so far. So that's been fun to watch, fun to be a part of.
Yeah. Darian and Sage, Darian Johnson and Sage Allen. I'm partial to those guys, man. And I love to see them win, and they've been crushing it the last couple weeks. Sage just over the weekend swept his set at San Antonio, and then set. DJ was riding really strong at Fort Worth. I was really hoping that he would be able to make it back, but
I had someone call me and ask me about DJ and if he'd come to our school, and they had never really seen him ride, and he's one of the bronc riders, and he's like, dude, I saw him in Fort Worth and he was rallying out on stuff. Way to go. Whatever you guys are doing, these kids are taking those basics and just building on it. And I'm glad you brought those two up, because like you said, we're a little partial to them because they were our first batch of guys, our first set.
OGs, yeah.
And they have just done everything we thought they were capable of. which is really,
and they were so
cool.
proof of all the things that, like, I mean, we sat around and talked about for years. Number one, they believed in us when we barely believed in us. You know what I'm saying?
They were our guinea pigs, man.
Yeah, it was a theory. Like, I think these are all the things I wish that we would have known. Hey, we should do a school like that. And so they came to the first ever one, and we gave them the stuff that we thought people needed to know. They took it, they employed it, and they're crushing it. And it's like validation that it's like, okay, all right. Okay. So yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Like what we're doing is working, like you said.
Yeah. I think this year is the year that we start having students come back as coaches. And I think those are going to be our first 2 that we bring back, which is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, speaking of OPAs though, wait, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to agree with you that, like, I mean, if there's anybody, like I said a minute ago, like, I mean, they were kind of guinea pigs and proof of what we thought would work. And to Logan's point, you know, and I think if anybody comes back to be a coach, like, obviously they have the longevity. It's been 2 years now that we had them, and shoot, man, they are
2 or 3 years.
It was it the fall of 2021? October 2021? 22.
So yeah, it's been just over 2 years.
Yeah.
It feels like 10 years in these last 3 years.
Feels like a lifetime.
Yeah. Crazy stuff. But hey, speaking of OPA, registration just opening up for our bull riding Optimal Performance Academy. We've got some changes and some good changes, and I'm fired up about it. We are going to be in Texas this whole year. All the OPAs will be in Texas. We will be doing them in Decatur at Fit and Wise. If you don't know what Fit and Wise is, look it up. But it's 10,000 square foot training facility that has literally anything and everything you could ever need for fitness, for training. We're up in the game, and it is going to be a blast. Coolest thing about this is all of the PBR teams, combines, all of those things are going to be going on the week before this, and the finals will be a week before that for the PBR. So all of these things, all these people are going to be here. So we're going to have, I'm not announcing any of these guests, but we're going to have a lot of special guests rolling through, and they're going to be talking to these guys, some of the coaches from the PBR teams. We've got guys from PBR HQ coming in to chat to these guys about the next level of this whole journey that is bull riding. And then coaching wise, we got the OGs coming back, same exact crew as last year. We got Paul, Tyler, Chase Doherty, Andrew Alviderez. Josh Frost is being back on the list, which I love. Last year he was rodeoing hard. This year recovering from an injury, and he said, "Put me down. I want to be there." And so we will have him, and then Cody Custer will be there as well. I absolutely loved Cody last year. Like, having him there was one of the biggest perks of the whole week for me, at least, and not just what I learned from him about bull riding, but just his mentorship, how he interacts with the guys. He is selfless when it comes to that. Like, he just cares about those guys and getting them down the road. The best part, he called me last week and he said, "I'm going to be able to make it for these 2 days. I'll be there the 3rd and 4th, and I have to be in Oklahoma the evening of the 5th, so I might leave, the evening of the 4th to get there." I said, "No problem." And I said, "But you said that last year too, you know that, right?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'll probably be there the 5th too." So I had a good chuckle about that. But we got them coming out, and it's gonna be great. I'm super excited to have this going on. And I put a little poll on my story yesterday about just who's ready to show up, and I had like 40 guys say yes. Yeah. So I'm fired up about that, and I think that we are going to see that culture we've been trying to change really swing around this year, and we're going to start seeing really big improvements. And I'm excited to see, we've done so many more horse riding ones comparatively to the bull riding. We've done one bull riding school, so I'm excited to get another bull riding down. A couple of those guys that said yes are return students. They're like, "I'm going to come back. Like, I'm in. Let's put me down. I'm bringing guys with me." I'm excited to see those guys get another round of this and then hit the trail again and see the progress and see some of these guys make finals. But, we were putting together stats the other day for like a whole picture, right, of our OPAs. What do you guys remember? What was the the percentage of students that have come that have made a finals after making an OPA? Was it 20 or 25?
It was like 25 or 30, somewhere around in there, that have made a finals.
Yeah, that's all relative, right?
Yep.
Because not everybody is showing up at this circuit finals level. There's lots of guys that are showing up, been on lots of horses or bulls, but have been in amateur ranks, and their goal is to go to the amateur finals next and do well there, and then we move on from there. That's how goal setting works, right? So making a finals and achieving your goals is what we care about, because that's progress, right? We can build with that, and that's just going to build their confidence. So 25%.
It was like 15% of them have gone on to a PRCA circuit finals. And then the bump there in the additional percentage was really guys in Australia. It was guys that have qualified and done well at Australian finals from the school that you did over there in Australia, that we did in Australia, as well as the ones from Australia that have flown over to the States and been a part of an OPA here.
And let's talk about those. Let's talk about some Aussies real quick. Paul, the rookies that won over there this last year, Charlie and I think it's Jaden, correct?
Yeah.
In the bull riding and the saddle bronc riding. These guys showed up to our OPA. This was literally a year ago, almost to the date. It was the beginning of January. So we're here February 10th or whatever it is. And they had probably some of the best fundamentals they could have gotten over there when we showed up, right? But what they learned there and the progress they saw over those 4 days was unreal. And to watch them learn that in 4 days and then go all out, win these rookie divisions over there is exciting, because that shows the goal there wasn't different in the sense of we want to make them ride better and more and better athletes, but the rodeo side's a little different. They aren't as evolved as PRCA is here, right? So we're helping them evolve their sport over there, their styles, how they're riding. They're setting the new standard of what the high bar is for each event, right? Because they're practicing those things we taught them. It makes me so excited. And Bree texted me those pictures, and I was beyond pumped.
Can I talk about what made them successful a little bit apart from us? When they showed up, Charlie, I'm going to speak about Charlie because I spent the most time with him, but like Charlie was the grittiest guy there when he showed up. Did not have the best mechanics, did not have the best fundamentals, was not staying on the most bulls out of everybody, but he got on more throughout the week than anybody else did, and he would not quit until his head hit the ground. And I feel like that speaks volumes about his want and try, and then he was coachable. And so you add those three things together, and we can help him get to the next level. Like without those three things, like who knows, how much we can actually do. Like there's unteachable aspects of the sport that like you have to come in and know and understand. Like we can teach you all the things that you need to know, but if you don't have the grit and the want and the determination, it's just information.
Yeah. And like you said, we can't give you that.
How many guys do you know over the course of your career, either one of you, that had flawless fundamentals?
Oh,
and they were in great shape. They just didn't have the determination. They were missing something in the mental aspect, and they were circuit guys at best if they made it that far. They 100% rode good enough to go farther, but they just didn't try.
I can name at least 5 guys in our college region that rode bulls that I thought were way, way, way better than me. And after college rodeo was over, they hung it up.
Yeah.
They were done.
Yeah. Which everybody has their own, everybody needs to decide when they're done. And so like, the NFR is not for everybody, and that's totally okay. It sounds like a loser thing to say, but it's like rodeo is a means to an end for some people. It's not the end all be all, and that's totally okay. But there's a lot of people that want this for a living. They want to do this full time, and they don't have the try, and they don't have the grit, and they don't have the determination. You're not going to get there until you find that first.
Well, you really don't want it that bad if you don't have those things, and that's the bottom line.
They like the idea of it,
right?
They don't like the reality,
right? Because reality is tough, and we're here and going back to all these guys we're seeing that are having massive success right now in this early part of the season. On the flip side, we've got a lot of guys that came to OPA this last year that are they're out on for the first time ever. And they are realizing very quickly how tough it is to be out there. And one of our guys, Bronc Rider, literally set himself up perfectly to go do this. Got sponsors, got money gathered, built out his own camper. Like, he was set up. Wins money his first rodeo, breaks his arm his second rodeo. Dude, that's heartbreaking. But it's also the sport, and this is another learning experience that this is what you signed up for. And you have to be okay with it, and you have to find ways to grow when you're going through times of hardship, and it's overcoming that adversity that's going to trigger that growth. And he called me, he was down, like bumming about it. I get that, but I gave him 24 hours, said, you got about a day to be sad about this, and then I want a game plan of how we're going to get better, even with this cast on and all these things. He's at home getting better, doing the things that he needs to, checking in, and we're just plugging in different little hobbies he can do, that keep him busy and keep him moving forward, that they apply to bronc riding sometimes, but not all the time, because you don't need to think about it all the time. They got a bareback rider. He's been out there going, and it's just tough, man. It's tough when you get out there. You doubt yourself. Do I belong here? All these things going on in the mental space. And the hardest part is reminding yourself that all you have to do is the basics that you've been taught and that you practice over and over and over, and it'll go better, right? And so learning how to, when you take that step to this bigger stage, it takes a minute to get used to all everything, the energy, the lights, the fireworks, it's so new. And I'd say probably takes 2 or 3 months of going pretty hard, going every weekend at least before you really start to settle in. But the things, if you can find ways to train yourself to deal with those kind of high stress scenarios in your training, you're going to be so much further ahead than anybody else. Right.
Yes. The difference between your bareback rider that's going this time of year is that he's done all the due diligence for the last year and a half, 2 years to set himself up to go rodeo this time of year. I see so many young guys. Your bareback rider rides exceptionally well. He rides good enough to place at any winter rodeo he enters, 100%. I see a lot of young guys that are very mediocre circuit guys at this stage of their career, and they get $2,000 put together and they hop in their buddy's camper and they head south for the winter. I'm like, dude, you're not going to win a dime down there. Number one, you don't ride good enough. Number two, you're going to have to draw the fluffiest hopper that they're usually 86 on, so that you can maybe be 79 and catch last hole. That's the only chance you got. And you're just going to waste all your daggum money. And so I really encourage these young guys to just be patient. I know it's hard because it's rodeo 24/7 with the Texas swing on TV. And so all you do is sit and watch these guys, your buddies rodeoing and going. There's so many rodeos later in the year that are going to get 9 guys. I mean, El Paso, Texas is one I can speak about because we did it. El Paso added 5,000 last year. I think there were 12 entries. We had quite a few turnouts, and everybody that nodded their head and marked their horse out and got a score got paid. I think there was like 8 guys that showed up, 6 guys, like over 3 or 4 performances with 5,000 added. There's so much money out there later in the year if you can be patient. And so anyway, I don't want to chase the rabbit, but like your bareback rider, he's ready. He needs to go. This is the next level for him. He's going to have to learn these lessons, and he's ready to learn these lessons, but there's a lot of them going. This was a little premature.
And I love that you went back to, he saved for this. He built up a fund to be able to say, I can survive this long on the road and I will be okay. And it's hard when you're not winning money out there. It's really hard because that's all you can start to think about at some point in time. And then you're, time away from your family, time away from girlfriends, whatever it is, it all starts to wear on you. And you have to push through and keep grinding. And it's all a learning experience. You'll never be able to fathom it, or you can listen to us say a million different words of advice, but until you're in it, you're never really going to be able to take that advice and put it to use. Right. But it's
getting to be a wolfy time of year. I mean, even in the other runs, we know the Texas swing is wolfy. I'm not talking about San Antonio. I'm talking about like next weekend is Perry, Georgia, Fort Myers, Florida, Davie, Florida. There might be one other one down there. and it's a good run of rodeos. They all add, $3, $4, $5, $6, $7, $8,000. You want to talk about the guys come out of the woodwork, and that's the duck off run. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get into San Antonio, so we're going to these. Man, it gets wolfy about everywhere this time of year because there's just so few rodeos going on.
Mm-hmm. And there are, I would say, even this time of year, if things are not going well, freaking go take the break. Go take a break now. Go save up. Go do that, and it'll be much better that way if you save the money and go win it in the fall.
Yeah.
Oh, look who's here!
Oh, look who showed up! What's up, dude?
All good, bro. All good. How are you, Brax? Man, we're doing really good. We're doing really good.
We were just talking.
Yeah.
We got you.
Can you hear us? So you should be able. Did that link? You should be able to click that link on the computer that I sent you, and it should bring you to the studio. And then you just put enter studio. Do you have a camera on your computer? Okay. You're good, bro. Sounds good. Okay. What were we talking about though?
Just how wolfy the runs are.
It is. It's competitive. I was even talking about or thinking about. There's all these little bucking sales going on too, and granted it's can be a little sketchy sometimes, but for you younger guys, dude, I went to those bucking sales in Oklahoma City every single year because I didn't think I was going to win, but every year I went, I ended up winning them, and it gave me like $1,500 to go to the Florida run with, which was sweet. And finding those little duck offs is sometimes the best, not the best, but a nice little opportunity to get your confidence up, go make some money, and get back to it.
Well, it's a way to get the reps in without so many negatives, I guess. Like, I mean, you just going straight entering rodeos, man. Like, you got a lot of money wrapped up in fees. You got a lot of money wrapped up in fuel. Like, you go to a buck and stock sale and, you pay one fee, and a lot of them you get on as many as you want. They're probably different now. Like, shoot, I don't know. They're probably free to go to. I don't know. The way it's been lately, at least in the bull riding world, it seems like there's guys paying you to come get on animals. So I'm really not sure how they all work at this point, but it's a way to get the reps in without burning up all your resources.
And I saw Beastmaster was there hanging out for the guys. They had equipment there. Man, when I went, there was zero of that. No gear, no one to help you, no one to help the guys. I pulled my own rigging on most of the stuff. So seeing Tim there, the face of the company, he doesn't have to take his time and go do that on the weekend, right? He wants to help those guys. And so seeing that company take the time to be there for an event like that, it makes me proud to be partnered with them. And, they are innovating the gear game so much. And I was thinking about this yesterday, all of the things he showed us at the warehouse, they do so much more than just rodeo. Literally anything Western riding wise, like tack wise, head stalls, anything for a saddle, they have all of that. And he's like, I just don't market it that much because we don't sell that many of them. And I told him, well, I think if you market it, you would sell a lot more of them. It's really good stuff. And the leather's great. They just do they do so much. And he's always looking at ways to make things better, whether it's for the sport of rodeo or just the Western world in general. So a big applause for them. I love that you guys are showing up and being there for these athletes, no matter what stage they're on. And use our discount code, y'all. If you are getting any kind of rodeo gear, check out all the new stuff that they're doing.
One thing I saw on
discount code Champion Living, all one word. BeastmasterRadioGear.com. Check it out.
One thing I saw on Tim, or not Tim's story, but the Beastmaster story, was that Tim had Billy Epbauer sit in the saddle, and like I knew exactly the questions that Tim was asking him. Like, how does it feel? How can we make it better? Like, what's the like? I knew I could imagine exactly how the conversation went because he wants to improve everything that much and he cares so much about it.
They're the best at they just take constructive criticism so well. They'll listen to anybody and everybody. It doesn't matter if you're Billy Epbauer or if you're a weekend warrior, they'll listen. They'll take what they can, they'll filter it in. The stuff that's worthwhile, they'll absolutely apply to try to make the product better. I was looking for a notebook. You guys were talking about buck and stock sales, and I have a rodeo notebook that we used when I was like 18, was going to IRA rodeos and wrote stock down. This was back in the day when you had to use the Rand McNally, that was tucked in between the atlas. And on the front page, it just had a bunch of like quotes or like things that we were learning on the road or whatever.
2013.
Rule number one, don't enter bucking stock sales. It's like right there at the top. We went to Texarkana that spring, and we put our gear bags down, went up there, paid entry fees, came and watched the first set of horses go. And I was like, you good? He's like, yeah, I'm good. Let's go. Grabbed our stuff and got out.
Well, dude, and that
horses crashed the fence. Two of them.
That is the other part about bucking stock sales is sometimes you don't know what you're getting into. I went to two. I went to the J&J ones, or then Tadpole bought into them. Whatever they're called, T&J, J&J. But I went to Fort Worth. I went to Texarkana. At Fort Worth, I got on 8 bulls that day. At Texarkana, I went and I didn't even get on a bull the first day because they didn't have enough bulls for everybody to get on.
Oh, there was probably the year there was more bulls. There was fist fights because they'd stand up on top of the alley that the bulls would load in.
And
with their bull rope. And as soon as the bull rolled in and the slam gate was shut behind him, they'd start dropping bull ropes on, and there'd be guys fist fighting over who was getting on. It was wild. Yeah, you had to stay there and watch your rope because somebody would take your rope off a bull and put it on. It was freaking wild.
That's rodeo, baby.
Yeah, that's why I didn't make it, because if I was in that position, I'm like, you can have him. I don't really want him that bad. It's totally yours. I'm not gonna fist fight you before I have to get on this thing.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah. And here we are. Yeah, they're a great idea. Go to them. Have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Know what you're going to.
Yeah. And I think I just had a client go to the one in Oklahoma
probably
State.
Evolved a lot since
it has changed a dramatic amount. And even the permit finals, Benny Binion's bucking stock sale up there in Vegas, that was a premier bucking stock sale. And even that, I got to go there at the permit finals, and it was horrendous. The amount, you were just drawn 2 random animals that were entered in this sale. And now that sale is legit. I'm telling you, cock your hammer. That permit finals deal up there, they thoroughly interview, have to submit X amount of videos. I don't know all the rules, and I'm going to lie about it probably, but I know that they filter through what enters that, at least the permit final section of it, and they select the animals that are used. And it's much, much different. And I had a client that just won the bareback riding at the one in Guthrie last weekend, Pedro, and he rode fantastic. He got on one really nice one, and then he got freaking whooped down hard on the second one. That was a arm yanking, walking on its front end hunk of crap. That's just the risk. But he knew what he was getting into. We had that conversation before he went, and he was like, I just want to get on some horses. I'm like, get after it. Good luck. And he got the dub. So
there's something to be said for getting on horses, man, getting the reps. And they're not always going to be fun, and that's just part of the sport.
Yep.
Even with our most elite athletes, they get in a drawing funk. They get on pieces of junk on repetitively, and they will be second guessing everything they're doing. What am I doing? Why is it not going well? Well, it's because you're getting on crap. You can't do well on crap. That's just how it goes. And that's the sport. And you have to get used to that. So all good lessons to learn. But, you young guys, go take advantage of those things. If you're ready, if you have the basics down, the fundamentals you've been getting on, that's a great opportunity to do it. can be some side effects. There can be things that happen. That's all I'm saying. But go take advantage of things like that and check out Beastmaster Rodeo. They're, again, innovating everything in rodeo gear. We're proud to be teamed up with them. Fitness wise, what are you guys doing in the gym these days?
Man, I've been
Logan, do you work out anymore or what?
Yeah, thank you. That's
You're welcome.
Hurtful. That was so hateful, actually. For the last 6 months, however, I mean, it's actually called for, because for the last 6 months, it's been very sporadic, once or twice a week, maybe. But now that I'm kind of home, I've gotten settled into 4 or 5 days. And believe it or not, I've actually started incorporating. I've been playing with a little bit of I don't know what you want to call it, right? Conditioning is what it is. It's cardio.
I knew you were going to lie to us.
It's cardio. However, it's the like just playing with different intervals and whatnot. And so that's one of the things that when I started with Champion Living and I started learning more and more about the science of rodeo athletes and what takes place, I swung really hard to like rodeo athletes don't need endurance, because it's true. Their sport is very physically demanding. They need a big tank for a short amount of time, but every once in a blue moon. So I swung that way, not only in my own training, but then in how I programmed other clients. Every once in a while in a blue moon, I'll have a bareback rider that gets hung up. And I've had 2 of them in the last 4 months that have had a hang up, and they both were like, man, I was gassed. They're dirty strong and they're powerful, but we haven't done anything past a 20-second sprint, 30-second sprint, rest 3 minutes, that we haven't been doing. And so at any rate, I'm playing with some intervals in my training, but because before I program it for other people, I like to see how it feels, like what it's going through. And I'm going to tell you, wildly out of cardiovascular shape over here. But I've been incorporating that, and then obviously trying to get yoked as usual, multiple days a week. But I've been doing How 2 days
do you do that,
a week.
though? Like, if you're getting yoked, like you want to put on muscle?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So I've been dividing it I've been lifting 3 days a week. And I essentially am doing some sort of push day, a lower body day, some sort of pull day is how I've divided that up. So typically workouts are lasting 45 minutes to an hour, and I'm hitting all of my main lifts. I'm hitting somewhere around 8 reps, depending on the lift, 6 to 8 reps, somewhere in there. And then the accessory movements, a lot of them are more like 8 to 10. But I'm incorporating a lot of the little stuff. Instead of just hitting 4 sets of bench press by itself, I'll hit a set of bench press and I'll superset it with maybe some band pull aparts or face pulls and some of the accessory work in between, a little higher rep range though, to make sure that I'm not skipping the little stuff that I would never come out to the gym to do a bunch of shoulder mobility by myself or scap work in and of itself. But when I mix it in the stuff I enjoy, all of a sudden I get it done. So
that's a great way to set it up. What have you been doing, Paul?
Yeah, it has been energy maintenance around here. We have been just hammered by sickness ever since we got home from Vegas. And as of the last 3 days, I finally feel like a human being again. Yeah, no kidding. Because sure enough, like we'll go to drop the kids off at the daycare at church and then we'll bring another one back. So anyway, not another kid, another virus. But
glad you clarified that.
Yeah. So it is very much just been like try to get in what I can. A lot of times that's just a mile walk at a brisk pace. Lift when I can, and I'm probably been lifting like twice a week on average. But then these last couple of days, I've been trying to hit it, been experimenting with some new movements and stuff, trying to make training fun again. But I did have a similar realization to you, Logan, and realize that my cardiovascular conditioning is not present at all. There's we walk around the block pretty much every single day here at the house, and I chased the 2 older kids while holding the youngest up the hill. And it's a gradual slope. It's maybe 70 yards, probably 25, 30 foot of elevation gain. So, it's a slope, but it's not like super steep or anything. And I jogged up it carrying the baby. And at the top, I was like gassed. And it took me a few minutes. Like once we got in the house, I was like still breathing heavy. I was like, oh, that's not good. So, There will be a little bit more cardio in my training here over the next couple of weeks.
I've had the thought for a minute that I needed to incorporate some stuff ever since these guys are like, man, I just was gassed. I'm like, okay, that's not okay. Like, man, you're well, we got to get. But then the other day I was coming back from Colorado Springs and we are delayed in Denver, or maybe delayed in Colorado Springs, delayed. And we landed 20 minutes after our next flight started boarding. And at the Denver. So we had approximately 10 minutes from the time, like for everybody to get off the plane. Of course, we're at the back of the plane, and then to make our gate. And so
when you connect in Denver, it's always
it's
always a half a mile away.
Luckily, it was like we were kind of at like the beginning of that one terminal wing, right? And it was more towards the end of that terminal wing. So it wasn't. I mean, I didn't have to, no planes, trains, automobiles to get to the other gate, but it was a little jaunt. And me and Jordan Weekly, we just took off. Once we got to the top, I bounced, and I'm not saying sprint, but it was very fast. And we got to the jetway, we made it. And she was like, thank you guys so much for your effort. But there was 4 more that are on your flight that are on their way too. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I didn't have to run. She's like, well, no, but we appreciate you hustling. And sure enough, 4 other people come waddling in at any rate. But I'm gonna tell you, I was on the jet bridge getting ready. I'm like, wow. That's not okay. I am not okay right now. Do we have oxygen tanks anywhere? Can somebody get me a freaking Capri Sun or something? I need a break. Holy smokes. I am dying, So I was like, okay, all right, fine. I will start doing some. So the first day that I did it, I just did a minute on, a minute off for 10 minutes. And it was miserable. And we're not even going, I've got an assault bike. So I was shooting for averaging on my ons 60 RPM. So it wasn't like I was sprinting,
no,
but I'm really trying to get after it.
That's a good clip.
And it was, I'm telling you, but what I love about when cardiovascular activity, when I can be consistent with it, twice a week ish. The next time I got on the bike, I did the same thing. It was, it was easy. I was able to average between 60 and 61. I'm not going to say easy, but it was nowhere near. I was like, this is what I was dreading. This is not bad.
Are you giving any focus to your breathing while you're doing that?
I have been. Yes, I have been typically focusing on only through my nose. That's what I've been focusing on my cardio stuff, is just straight through the nose. And it makes a huge difference. But then really focusing on that breath in my minute off of big, slow, controlled, deep breaths. And I would pull my Apple Watch, which for better or worse, at least it's consistent, right? It might not be it's not the most accurate, but it's consistent.
Well, yeah.
I pulled the workout summary up on my phone screen and set my phone screen up right there. So I could see my heart rate would, by the time I got to round 7 or 8, my heart rate would get up to maybe 175, 178, somewhere in there. But I was able to get it down to 140 something in my off times. And that was my goal, was to just see how far I could get my heart rate to go down before I had to go again.
Yeah. The really cool thing about that is applicable to any sport really, but especially rodeo, is you just taught yourself how to control your brain, your mind, and how, when it connects to your body. Right. And so now you get to see the positive correlation between your deep breaths, whether you're counting them, your seconds in, your seconds out, whatever it is. That same system can now be applied to the arena, because right when you're about to go, heart rate's starting to get jacked up, adrenaline's dumping. It's the same feeling, and you can breathe through that and get it back down. And I know back in the day when you were rodeoing towards the end of your career, you wore your whoop, you decreased your intake on caffeine big time, and you did all these things because you realized that your heart rate's 170 when you're getting on, and you're realizing when you get off, you're wasted, tired, beat.
I was nowhere near cognitively present with my heart rate that high. It was just kind of like a blur of stuff happening underneath me, even though I'd been riding for 15 years. But once I could get my heart rate, I would check it, and it would get up to 170 in my warm up, and that would be the highest it would get. But then during the ride, I'd be nodding at 135, 140. And it was just insane shift in how cognitively present I was during the ride.
You can never practice it during the ride and get really, really proficient at it. You have to practice it outside of that arena to start seeing those benefits in a different way, and then apply it to that. And you're going to get so much further with that skill that you just learned. And I made a post yesterday about bull riders. It was more, I wanted to do to all rough stock riders, but I was on the phone with Josh Frost the other day and we were talking about schools in general. And we were talking about the Australian school because we were talking about those guys that won the rookie deal. And we brought up the fact that guys, students, athletes we've had in America are not as gritty as those guys that we saw in Australia. And that is 100% due to the way of life here, right? And that brought us on to the fact of got a lot of kids that show up that, you know, my dad, my grandpa, the guy down the road says, I just need to be tougher. I don't need to work out. Bull riding is about being tough. And there's a massive miscorrelation between the lifestyle from the 1960s to the early 2000s and what that lifestyle is like now. And the manual labor that was happening during those times, that was the lifestyle. That was everybody's life. They all worked hard. They just in their brain are not putting it one-on-one together that I was building fence all day, but I never went to the gym. Therefore, I never need to work out. Dude, you were working out all day building fence. That is a workout. That is physical manual labor. And you were eating really good fuel. And Paul brought that up, like not to mention the quality of nutrition that was available during those periods of time than compared to what is available now. Everything is ultra processed now. Back then, it was awesome. They still cooked McDonald's French fries in animal fat. Like, you know, it was just a different world. And so
get real meat at a fast food restaurant.
Exactly. And so it's different times and we have to evolve as athletes. And, you know, I get where those guys are coming from saying that, but I wish they would slow down and actually think about everything that was going on, right? They were strong. They were fit. They did these things every day. Kids don't do that in today's world. And that's why the gym is so important, because you get the opportunity to learn things that Logan was just talking about, the breath work, the mind control. There's so much mental preparation that you get from fitness, strength and conditioning that unless you're correlating them, unless you actually think about what's going on, you'll never get that from it. But the second you say, okay, instead of going to the gym and going as hard as I can, trying to kill myself, if I move slow, focus on the perfect reps, add the tempo, count the reps, all of a sudden it's a huge challenge. And I always, first week, getting pretty much slap fights with my clients about, I hate this. I can't count my reps. I can't count my tempo, like blah, blah, blah. And then they forget it, right? They literally just go full speed and they do it. And I get on them. Because that's my job. Do not follow the tempo, lighten the effing weight off, and do it correctly. And I swear to you, if you do this 4 weeks, that weight you will be so far past that weight you were just lifting, and you'll be doing it at a tempo, and it will come. But you focus on the process, the results are going to just happen. And truth be told, everyone that does that, massive, massive results in the gym. And then it correlates to the arena because they can now control their body, control their mind, and they know how to do it because they practice it in a low stress environment, right?
Yep,
the intensity is very low.
You're not an athlete. I think the thing I'm most excited about in better cardiovascular shape is my recovery between sets. Sometimes as lifting heavy, my limiting factor will be that I'm gassed. I get done with a heavy set of 6 or 8 and I'm like, man, I'm breathing way, especially at the end of my workout.
Takes you 5 minutes to recover instead of 2.
I'm breathing harder than I really should be for the amount of time that I just spent under load. You know what I'm saying? I didn't spend more than 30 seconds. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm excited for the recovery factor in between sets. I'll be able to lift more in a more efficient time frame because I'm in better cardiovascular shape. That's like,
what do you think about when you're lifting? Do you go through?
Well, that's actually not appropriate for air for me to like put. I'm just kidding.
Wait, what?
What do I think about when I'm lifting?
Yeah, like, so, okay, when I'm deadlifting, if I'm not focusing on my mechanics, bracing and breathing, I get done with 5 reps and I feel like I could pass out. I could fall over.
I'm usually really focused on bracing, depending on the lift, right? Anything that I'm doing lower body, whether it's deadlifts, I've been doing a lot of front squats lately, and I have to be very, very careful as I increase weight on front squats that I'm bracing appropriately because I hate front squats and they are super obviously front loaded. I feel the tension, feel the tightness on my core. And if I'm not bracing appropriately, I will get done with a heavy set of 8 and my low back will start to bug me. And so that's where I'm bracing. But with anything upper body, especially pushing upper body. I messed that shoulder up last summer, and it's still tweaking from time to time. So I am extremely careful that I am snapping that bar in half. I'm focusing on great form and really staying tight through my shoulders and using my full body, even for a movement like a bench press. It's not just an upper body movement, bracing into the floor, all those things. So yes, it is definitely form and bracing for sure for me for any lift that I'm doing.
That's good. Really, like that's the most important part of lifting, is consciously thinking about what is activating, because you can just press a bar overhead up and down and do it without activating anything really.
Yeah.
Once you start thinking about bracing your core, locking your glutes down at the same time, and then pressing or lifting or whatever you're doing, you start to correlate that your body is it's tied together. So if I squeeze my core in my butt, everything now is locked down. I just became so much more rigid and stable. You've just figured out all these little things that they might be in a different plane of movement, but they are the movements that are happening in the arena. They're just broken down. And Logan, you and I were talking about this with Mason Clemens.
Yep.
Been working a lot of power things with him, a lot of rate of force development, depth drops, to split landing, like all kinds of things, right? Yeah. Because if we flip the axis that he is on and now put him on the back of a horse and reverse the movement, that's what's happening when his legs are coming up on the spur motion. He got on an extremely electric and down horse the other day, Stevie Nicks, and was 90.5 points. But without that training, his body would not have been able to react that way, because that force that a horse is giving to him on those legs and abductors should not be able to sustain that. But because the training is doing it, his body knew exactly what to do. And he called me, like I told you, right after that, and was like, dude, holy cow, this is awesome. And it's until you try it, until you take that leap. And Mason is extremely fit. Like, he knows how to work out. He's done his own training his entire career, pretty much, minus some help with some little guys getting plans and stuff. But he's never had a coach, never invested in it like this. And to see a guy again at this elite level making this one little tweak, and all of a sudden we've won 40,000 in a month.
Yep.
Proof's in the pudding, right? And it's those guys I wish we could get through their head the most, is like, you're so damn stubborn. Your ego can get so big that you cannot even see the easiest thing, that all you have to do is change something. Do something a little different, invest in your training a little bit differently, and everything, the results are going to be different.
All those elite guys, that have crossed over. I mean, like, I can think of Jess Pope and Tim O'Connell. Like, I've had conversations with each one of those. Tim specifically at our OPA, when he came to teach, he was like, I'm not going to lie, I didn't want to like it, but it works. I don't know what kind of method it is, but it works. He's like, I'm actually resting now in between sets, and I'm lifting heavier than I've ever lifted, and I also feel better than I've ever felt. I didn't want to say that, but I'm going to say it. And so, like, somebody like, Timo, 3-time world champ. I mean, like, elite. That's as elite as it gets. Mm-hmm. And that's a small piece of the puzzle that guys can change.
Yeah. It's cool to see. I love it. I love what we're doing. And, we've been sitting down as coaches a lot lately and kind of masterminding about how can we make these guys better? How can we make what we're doing better? We're always constantly trying to evolve ourselves and our business and help as many people as possible. And so it's exciting, and I love what we do. And I'm fired up for all the schools coming up. And, speaking of which, our app, Champion Living Fitness app, if y'all, your financial won't allow for you to do individualized training, or you just want to get an introduction to what we're doing, we have Champion Living Fitness app. You can download it in the Google Play Store or Apple App Store. It is free to download. Every program will have the first 2 days free, so you can check out what each program is. But what we've done is broken this out into events. So event-specific workouts for rodeo, roping, steer wrestling, horse riding, all the bull riding. We just uploaded progression plans. So meaning a new saddle bronc plan just hit, a new bull riding plan just hit, and we just dropped our outdoor champs program, which has me really excited. This is for anyone that, even if you're rodeo, it'd be awesome for you. But anyone that doesn't rodeo, likes to get outside, likes to hunt, likes to fish, likes to go hiking, just wants to chase the kids around the yard, like whatever it is, this will help you build strength, build a little bit of that cardio that these guys have been talking about. And it's got some mobility in there as well. Ooh, and our Mobility 101 plan, which is our most purchased program on the entire app, getting rave reviews about that program. It's only mobility, y'all. Full body mobility programs or sessions, 3 days a week. Actually might be 4. I have to go back and look at it. I don't remember. But guys, there's demo videos attached to all of these things. We're explaining the movements. I just opened up the community on there so you guys can ask questions. You can introduce yourselves. You can share wins. I will be on there communicating a lot more. I'm not going to lie. I had the community set up when I built transparency. I built this thing. So there's a lot of things that go on in this that I'm like, I think it works great, but I'm not a professional at this. So little grace, appreciate the grace with y'all. But I had the community open since the beginning, and I had no idea it was even there. And so the more I've been learning about all of these graphic design things and these back offices, I realized that a lot of people had introduced themselves and talked to it, and I hadn't said a thing. So I apologize for that. I really apologized. I pulled it up, and there were comments on there from 23, a couple from 2022, and I literally opened it to respond, and I was like, you're too late. Don't do that.
It's too late.
You're embarrassing yourself.
They're gone.
Yeah, you're embarrassing
that ship has sailed. Well, the best part about the app is that it gives anybody, there's such a low barrier to entry there because it's like $19.99 or whatever. Like it's
$19.99 for 8 weeks, and there's $9.99 for 4-week programs. So we've got everything available.
You spend more than that on Candy Crush. Get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't afford that. You know,
Did I say a week or a month?
I think I don't know.
Okay, it's a month. $19.99 a month or $9.99 a month. I thought I said a week. I was like, wait. No.
You said for the 8-week programs. And
My bad.
Sorry, boys.
No, we're good.
Yeah, it's super affordable, and there's a lot of people that are like, man, they're interested in coaching, and we talk to them about it, and we're like, hey, these are kind of the rates, and they're like, man, maybe they're high school athletes or they're college athletes, so they're just like, I just can't swing it right now. I always direct them to the app, and I have a lot of people. I had a conversation with a guy the other day. He sent me some film to review a bareback rider, and he's like, man, I've been on the Bareback 101 program. He's like, I freaking love it. This guy's 40 years old, and he sent me some videos to review. He rides fantastic, and he's like, I never really worked out. I never really knew what to do. And he's like, this app gives me it's an easy way for me to get some stuff in I know is going to help me. Like it's a no-brainer.
It's less than a white Monster and a can of Zins at the gas station. All right. Get after it.
What else do we need to say? That's it. That's our marketing from now on.
Yeah, that's funny.
And you probably just spoke to so many people now.
I know I did. Yeah. We are our ideal clients. That's why this works so well.
Facts.
We can relate to you guys. We can relate. That's
also why real.
That's also why Doug didn't respond to the app for the community thing, because we don't know how it works either.
I'm just being real here, like full transparency. You'll always get transparency from us. We will tell you, and I will be the first to tell you I messed up, because it is. That is such as life. My bad. We're going to keep doing the best we can. But on another note, there are about 2,400 people that have downloaded this app. So to all of you, thank you. We wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. And when we started the app, the literal mission was to give people just a intro resource to fitness for rodeo athletes. We understand signing up with us as individual coaches it's a financial investment. And that should be, because that's it. You're getting something large in return if you are consistent with it. But we also know, like Paul was saying, barrier to entry is low for this. We wanted to create something that anybody and everybody can use. Even if you've never rodeoed before. I'm getting all kinds of DMs about guys, never been to school, never rodeoed.
Yeah.
But should I start training now, doing this app to get ready for the school I'm going to in May? I had a kid from Cali, 17 years old, reach out to me. And that was his question. And I told him, you are so far ahead of anybody that's going to be at that school, even not having been on or not having gear, dude. Just the wherewithal to think ahead about, I should probably get fit for this. The culture's changing. So guys, it's working. Our plan is coming together. And it's no better time to be a cowboy, man. I've said it a million times. But there are more resources available now than there ever was if you want to get into the sport. And like I said, we're always here to help anybody. So if that's you don't know where to go, hit us up. Shoot us messages, shoot us an email. we'll point you in the right direction, even if it's not rough stock related. We know everybody. So we can point you in whatever direction you need to when it comes to rodeo development and anything like that. Guys, you got anything to wrap this up? Any famous last words?
It's good to hang out with the boys.
It was.
Enjoyed
it. Good to catch up. I've got to go do adult things the rest of the day. So
boo.
We'll be back next episode. PBR's head of athlete development and outreach will be with us, Joe Ernst. Excited to talk with him and talk about all the new things the PBR is doing for the next generation of athlete and for its organization as a whole. So guys, until next time, we'll catch you later. In this, we know that you're committed to upping your game in the arena, and we're teaming up with the Rodeo Now app to help you do just that. The Rodeo Now app allows you to record, upload, and catalog your rides and runs, review your performances in slow motion, and our favorite feature, if you're not familiar with your stock draw, you can search your animal by name to get all the intel you need to make your next ride a winning one. Join the rodeo revolution today and download the Rodeo Now app for free. It's available in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. If you want to learn more about our coaches and program options, make sure to swing over to our website at www.championlivingfitness.com. You can fill out the Become an Athlete form to set up your free consultation and have all your questions answered by a coach.